Okay, so you're getting ready for your hair transplant.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting, right?
Yeah.
And while the procedure is obviously a big deal, what happens afterward can really make or break how amazing those results end up being.
Right.
We're talking about post-op care, and today's deep dive is like your secret weapon for that.
Absolutely.
It's like your cheat sheet straight from the experts at PROFUE Talks.
That's right. Post-op care is where the magic really happens. It's not just about like blindly following instructions.
Right.
You really want to understand why each step is so crucial for these tiny, newly implanted grafts to take root and flourish.
Grafts, that's actually a perfect place to start.
Yeah.
For anyone listening who's maybe still wrapping their head around the whole hair transplant thing, can you break down what a graft actually is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A graft is like the building block of your new hairline.
Okay.
It's a tiny little cluster of hair follicles carefully extracted from the donor area,
Right.
usually the back of your head. During the transplant, these grafts are meticulously placed in the recipient area,
Okay.
wherever you want to see that new hair growth.
Got it.
Yeah.
So these grafts, they're like the VIPs of the hair transplant world.
For sure.
We need to treat them right
Absolutely.
if we want them to settle in and thrive.
Yeah.
And the first few days after the procedure, I mean, those are especially crucial, right?
Exactly. The immediate post-op period.
Okay.
It's all about minimizing any trauma
Yeah.
and maximizing healing.
Right.
The PROFUE Talks experts, they emphasize rest.
Okay.
You know, imagine your scalp is like a garden that's just been seeded.
Right.
Those delicate grafts.
Yeah.
They need time to take root.
So we're talking about channeling our inner couch potato for a few days.
Yeah.
No problem. Take it easy. But what about those, those inevitable post-transplant sensations, the itching, the tightness? Is that all normal?
It's totally normal.
Okay.
It's all part of the healing process.
Okay.
But as tempting as it might be, resist the urge to scratch or touch your scalp.
Yeah.
Even the slightest little disruption can dislodge those precious grafts or introduce bacteria.
Okay, no scratching. Got it.
Yeah.
But why is scratching so bad? What's actually happening on like a microscopic level when we give in to that itch?
When you scratch, you're creating like these tiny micro tears in the skin, and that disrupts the blood flow and potentially introduces bacteria.
Right.
You know, your scalp is in a very delicate state right now.
Yours.
And any interference can really hinder the healing process.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Those grafts are like tiny little seedlings that need a calm and stable environment to thrive.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about channeling our inner Zen master.
A little bit, yeah.
And resisting the urge to itch.
Exactly.
But what about swelling? The PROFUE Talks experts, they mentioned sleeping with your head elevated.
Right.
Is that just for comfort?
Yeah.
Or is there like an actual scientific reason behind it?
It's definitely more than just comfort.
Okay.
Sleeping with your head elevated helps reduce swelling by promoting something called lymphatic drainage.
Okay.
Think of the lymphatic system as like your body's natural detox system. It carries away waste and fluids, and keeping your head elevated encourages this process.
Okay.
It minimizes puffiness and speeds up healing.
Interesting. So it's like giving our scalp's lymphatic system a little boost.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm definitely going to be piling on those pillows tonight.
Good.
But what about washing my hair?
Yeah.
I'm guessing we have to be super careful with that too, right?
You're right. Hair washing is an important part of post-op care.
Right.
But it needs to be done with the utmost gentleness.
Okay.
Your clinic will provide you with specific instructions and products.
Right.
But the general idea is to avoid any harsh rubbing.
Or scrubbing.
Okay, so we're treating our scalp like a delicate piece of silk.
Pretty much.
What's the timeline for washing? Can we get our hair wet right away?
Yeah.
Or do we have to wait?
Most clinics advise waiting at least 24 hours before getting your scalp wet.
Okay.
After that, you can start with some gentle rinsing
Yeah.
and gradually progress to using the provided shampoo.
Right.
The key is to avoid any harsh scrubbing or picking at the scabs.
Right.
They'll fall off naturally in time.
So it's like a gradual reintroduction to water.
Yeah.
Starting with a gentle rinse and then working our way up to a full-on shampoo session.
Exactly.
But what about those scabs?
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're like a normal part of the healing process, right?
Absolutely. Scabs are a sign that your body's doing its job.
Okay.
It's healing those tiny incisions made during the transplant. But as tempting as it might be, avoid picking or scratching them.
Right.
They'll naturally flake off within a week or two.
Got it. Hands off those scabs.
Exactly.
But what about the dreaded shedding phase? I've heard that the transplanted hair can actually fall out a few weeks after the procedure.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's true. Shedding is a normal part of the hair growth cycle.
Really?
And it can happen a few weeks after the transplant. It might sound counterintuitive, but it's actually a good sign.
Wait, so losing hair is a good sign?
I know it seems strange, but it's all part of the natural hair growth cycle.
Okay.
Let me explain. Hair follicles go through phases of growth, rest, and shedding. The shock of the transplant can trigger those transplanted hair to enter the resting phase, leading to shedding. But the important thing to remember is that the follicle itself is still alive and well. It's just taking a little break.
Okay, so it's like those hair follicles are taking a well-deserved vacation after their big move.
Exactly.
But when do they come back from vacation?
And start producing new hair.
Typically, new hair growth starts around 3 to 4 months after the transplant.
Right.
But full results, that lush, thick head of hair that you're envisioning, can take up to a year to develop.
A year?
Yeah.
That seems like a long time.
It does, but
I guess good things come to those who wait, right?
Exactly. Patience is key.
Right. And speaking of journeys, I'm curious about the long-term game plan here. Is a hair transplant like a one-and-done deal? Or do we need touch-ups down the road?
Those are excellent questions and ones that we'll definitely delve into as we continue our deep dive.
Right.
But for now, let's focus on setting you up for success.
Sounds good to me.
In those crucial first few months after your procedure.
So we've covered the importance of rest. Resisting the urge to scratch, sleeping with our heads elevated.
Right.
And understanding the shedding phase.
Exactly.
What else do we need to know about those early days after the transplant? What other lifestyle factors can impact healing and hair growth? Let's dive into that right after this quick break.
Sounds good. Welcome back.
So beyond just taking it easy and not scratching, what else can impact how well those grafts actually take hold and start growing?
Well, think of your body as a whole system. What you put into it matters just as much as what you're doing on the outside.
Okay, so we're talking about diet and exercise, that kind of thing.
That's exactly.
Fill me in, because I'm all about maximizing my hair growth potential.
The PROFUE Talks experts, they're big on this. A balanced diet, rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals, is absolutely essential. Those tiny little hair follicles, they need the right building blocks to grow strong and healthy.
Makes sense. So we're talking about loading up on those leafy greens, lean proteins.
For sure.
All that good stuff.
Absolutely.
What about exercise? I know we have to take it easy for a while, right?
Well, when can we start hitting the gym again? It's best to avoid strenuous exercise for at least a month after the transplant. Sweating can irritate the scalp and potentially disrupt that healing process. Remember, those grafts are still settling in. And we don't want to create any unnecessary stress.
No sense in jeopardizing all that hard work by pushing ourselves too soon. But I'm guessing gentle exercise, like walking, is okay?
Absolutely. Walking is a great way to stay active and boost circulation, which can actually aid in healing. Just listen to your body and avoid any activities that make you sweat excessively or strain your scalp.
Got it. Walking is intense workouts are out, at least for the first few weeks.
Exactly.
But what about other lifestyle factors? What about things like alcohol and smoking? Do those have an impact on hair transplant recovery?
They definitely can.
How?
Alcohol can thin the blood, which can increase the risk of bleeding and swelling. So it's best to avoid alcohol for at least the first few days after the transplant.
So maybe hold off on that celebratory champagne for a few days.
Exactly, yeah.
And what about smoking?
Smoking is a big no-no. It constricts blood vessels, which can impair healing and increase the risk of complications. If you're a smoker, this is a great opportunity to quit or at least cut back significantly during the recovery period.
So we're talking about prioritizing those grafts over our vices.
For sure.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something that I know a lot of people are curious about. Hair care products. Can we use our regular shampoo and conditioner after a transplant? Or are there specific products we should be using?
That's a great question. Your clinic will likely provide you with a specific shampoo and conditioner that are formulated for post-transplant care.
All right.
These products are designed to be gentle on the scalp and promote healing.
Okay, so we're sticking with the clinic-recommended products for a while.
For a while, yeah.
But what about styling products? Can we use gel mousse or hairspray after the transplant?
It's best to avoid any styling products for at least a month after the transplant. These products can contain harsh chemicals that can irritate the scalp and potentially damage those delicate grafts.
Got it. So we're going au naturel for a while?
Yeah, for a little bit.
No problem.
Yeah.
Now, I know we talked about the shedding phase earlier, but I want to circle back to that for a minute.
Sure.
I know it's normal, but it can still be a bit freaky to see those newly transplanted hairs falling out.
Right.
Is there anything we can do to, like, minimize shedding or speed up the regrowth process?
Unfortunately, there's no magic bullet to prevent shedding.
Right.
It's an essential part of the hair growth cycle. But there are things you can do to support healthy hair growth during this phase.
Like what? Give me the inside scoop.
Well, a balanced diet, as we discussed earlier, is crucial. Make sure you're getting enough protein, iron, and other essential nutrients. Staying hydrated is also important. And managing stress can play a role as well. Stress can disrupt the hair growth cycle. So finding healthy ways to manage stress can be beneficial.
So we're talking about, like, holistic hair care.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nourishing our bodies from the inside out to support those hair follicles in their regrowth journey.
For sure.
What about hair care products? Are there any specific shampoos, conditioners, or treatments that can help promote hair growth after the shedding phase?
There are definitely products out there that claim to promote hair growth. But it's important to be cautious and do your research before trying anything new. Your surgeon can recommend products that are suitable for your individual needs and safe to use after a transplant.
So when it comes to hair care products, it's best to stick with the tried and true and always check with the expert before trying anything new.
Absolutely.
But what about those other potential side effects we talked about earlier, like the itching, the redness, those little pimple-like bumps? How long do those usually last?
Those side effects are typically temporary and should subside within a few weeks. The itching and redness are a natural part of the healing process as the skin repairs itself.
So it's just our body doing its thing, healing and regenerating.
Exactly.
But what about those pimple-like bumps? Those seem a little strange.
Those bumps are actually a good sign.
Really?
They're often a sign of hair growth beneath the surface of the skin. As new hair follicles develop, they can sometimes create these small bumps, but they usually disappear on their own as the hair continues to grow.
So those bumps are like little welcome signs for our new hair.
Exactly.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Good.
But speaking of new hair, I'm dying to know when I can expect to see some real noticeable results. When will I finally be able to ditch the hat and show off my new and improved hairline?
I know it's tempting to want to see those results right away. But patience is key. Remember, everyone's hair growth journey is unique.
Of course.
Some people see results sooner than others, but generally you can expect to see significant new hair growth starting around the 6-month mark.
So we're talking about 6 months for some real visible progress. But what about the full, glorious, hair commercial-worthy results? When can we expect to reach peak hair goals?
Full results typically take about a year to develop. At that point, you'll have a much clearer picture of the final outcome of your transplant.
So we're playing the long game here.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's exciting to know that even though there's a waiting period, those new hairs are on their way.
They are.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into post-op care, I want to talk about something that I think is often overlooked. The emotional side of hair transplant recovery. It's a big decision.
It is.
And it can be an emotional roller coaster, right?
Absolutely. It's important to acknowledge that there's an emotional component to this journey. There will be ups and downs, moments of excitement and moments of doubt.
Of course.
It's perfectly normal
Yeah.
to experience a range of emotions throughout the process.
So how do we ride those emotional waves? What advice do you have for anyone who's feeling overwhelmed or discouraged during their recovery?
First and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Okay.
Remember that you're going through a significant change, and it takes time to adjust.
Right.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself to see results right away.
Okay.
Focus on the positive steps you're taking to care for yourself and your new hair.
Right.
Surround yourself with supportive people who understand what you're going through.
Okay.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional.
Right.
They can provide guidance and support during this time.
That's such great advice.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the physical aspects of hair transplant recovery that we forget about the emotional impact.
Absolutely.
But it's so important to acknowledge those feelings and seek support when we need it.
For sure.
And remember, this is a journey, and journeys are meant to be enjoyed.
Exactly.
So take it one day at a time. Celebrate the small victories and trust the process.
Absolutely.
Right.
And remember, you're investing in yourself and your future.
Yeah.
The results will be worth the wait.
Okay, I'm feeling so much more informed and empowered now.
Good.
We've covered so much ground today. From the nitty-gritty details of post-op care to the emotional aspects of the journey. And most importantly, we've emphasized the importance of patience, self-care, and seeking support when needed.
For sure.
But before we wrap things up, I want to take a quick step back and talk about the bigger picture. Why is hair transplant post-op care so crucial?
Sure.
What are the potential consequences of neglecting these guidelines?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
Post-op care isn't just about following rules.
Right.
It's about setting yourself up for success and ensuring that your investment pays off in the long run. Neglecting these guidelines can lead to a range of complications, from poor hair growth to infection and scarring.
Wow.
Remember, those newly transplanted grafts are vulnerable and they need the right environment to thrive.
So we're talking about protecting our investment, both financially and emotionally.
Absolutely.
It makes sense to put in the extra effort.
For sure.
To ensure that we get the best possible results.
Right.
But what about those of us who are still on the fence about getting a hair transplant?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for anyone who's considering this procedure but hasn't taken the plunge yet?
Do your research.
Okay.
Talk to reputable surgeons. Gather information.
Right.
And make sure you understand the process, the risks, and the potential benefits.
Okay.
It's a big decision.
Right.
And it's important to feel confident and informed before moving forward.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to something as important as our hair.
For sure.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
Oh, yeah.
But we've only just scratched the surface of the fascinating world of hair transplant post-op care.
There's a lot more to learn.
Okay, so we'll have to save those juicy topics for future deep dives.
Okay.
But for now, let's wrap up this episode with some final thoughts and key takeaways.
Great.
All right, so as we wrap up our deep dive into hair transplant post-op care, let's distill everything we've learned into some actionable wisdom.
Absolutely. Let's equip our listeners with the knowledge to make their hair transplant journey as smooth and successful as possible.
So first things first, what's the single most important piece of advice you'd give to someone who's just had their hair transplant?
Without a doubt, follow your surgeon's instructions.
Okay.
Meticulously.
Okay.
They've created a personalized roadmap for your recovery, and it's crucial to trust their expertise.
That makes total sense. Those post-op instructions are like gold.
Yeah.
They're there to guide us every step of the way.
Exactly. And along with following those instructions, remember, those early days are all about TLC.
Okay.
Be gentle with your scalp. Avoid any harsh products or treatments.
Right.
And resist the urge to touch or scratch.
Right. It's like we're nurturing a delicate little garden.
Yeah.
Creating the perfect environment for those newly implanted grafts.
Exactly.
To take root and flourish.
That's a perfect analogy.
And while we're on the topic of nurturing those grafts, let's talk about lifestyle choices. What can listeners do to support their recovery and maximize hair growth from the inside out?
Well, we touched on this earlier,
but
it's worth emphasizing again. A balanced diet is key.
Okay.
Make sure you're getting enough protein,
Right.
iron, and those essential vitamins and minerals that support healthy hair growth.
So we're talking about loading up on those leafy greens, lean proteins, and all those nutrient-rich foods that fuel our bodies and our hair follicles?
Exactly. And don't forget about hydration.
Right. Water is life.
Yes.
And it's hair life, too.
For sure.
But what about exercise? I know we have to take it easy for a while.
Right.
But when can we start getting back into our fitness routines?
Listen to your body and your surgeon's advice.
Okay.
Gentle exercise, like walking, is usually fine after the first few days.
Okay.
But avoid anything strenuous that makes you sweat excessively or put strain on your scalp.
Got it. Gentle walks are intense workouts are out.
For now.
At least for the first few weeks.
Exactly.
But let's talk about something that I know can be a bit of a mental hurdle for a lot of people, the shedding phase.
Right.
It's normal. We know that.
Yeah.
But it can still be a little unnerving to see those newly transplanted hairs falling out.
For sure.
What words of encouragement would you offer to someone who's going through that right now?
I'd say don't panic.
Okay.
Shedding is a natural part of the hair growth cycle.
Right.
And it doesn't mean your transplant has failed.
Okay.
Remember, those hair follicles are just taking a little break before they kick back into gear and start producing new hair.
So it's like those hair follicles are recharging their batteries before they start their new job.
Exactly. And while you're waiting for those new hairs to sprout, focus on the positive.
Okay.
Celebrate the fact that you've taken this proactive step to invest in yourself and your hair.
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
It's all about shifting our perspective and focusing on the long-term goal.
Absolutely.
And remember, patience is key.
It is.
It takes time for those new hairs to make their grand debut.
It does.
But when they do, it'll be worth the wait.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, remember, you're not alone in this journey. There's a whole community of people who understand what you're going through.
Right.
Connect with others.
Yeah.
Share your experiences and seek support when you need it.
Right. We're all in this together.
Exactly.
And to all our listeners out there who are about to embark on their hair transplant adventure, we want to say congratulations on taking this exciting step.
Absolutely.
We hope this deep dive has armed you with the knowledge and confidence to navigate your post-op journey with ease.
We've covered so much ground today.
Yeah, we really have.
From the science behind hair growth to the practical tips and tricks for optimal healing.
Yeah.
But remember, this is just the beginning of your hair restoration journey.
Exactly. There's still so much more to explore.
There is.
But for now, we hope you feel informed, empowered, and excited about the amazing transformation that's ahead of you.
And remember, if you have any questions or concerns along the way, don't hesitate to reach out to your surgeon. They're your trusted guide throughout this entire process.
So here's to healthy hair, happy healing,
absolutely,
and a confident, vibrant you.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those luscious locks growing.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.